How are we most similar, and how does that scare you? Let's see.
It's my question.
Oh,
What is one experience you wish we never shared?
no, I can't. I was going to say these various things that you have me taste. I could kind of pass on that.
What, like the ginger juice?
Oh, yes, always something with some flavor that I find to be obnoxious, like kombucha. I could pass on that. You always want me to try these interesting, you think they're interesting.
Yes, expand.
I
lady,
can't expand. This is an old palate here. And I don't think it is very conducive to expanding for some of these newer tastes.
Well, too bad, lady.
I know.
There will be more.
I know. You're going to keep it up.
I would say, actually, I'd have one that I wish
Okay.
we didn't share. I think the way you and my dad separated, because I had no awareness that that's what was happening, it really created a level of like being disoriented that makes me hyper aware and like needing to triangulate and know what's going on at all times. And when I don't know, I'm really like anxious and like deeply pursuing like what's going on, what's this relationship, and how's this work. Like, it's why I'm like, I know exactly what's happening here in all kinds of situations. I'm always like identifying, okay, who's the leader here? Who's the helper? Who's the da-da-da? Where's the exit strat? Like, I'm looking at everything because I didn't know we were leaving him forever.
Right. You had a profound uneasiness from that.
And because in the moment, because you just said, oh, we're going to see your brother and sister, I just assumed that that was true. I had no reason to think that that wasn't true, and I was excited about it, and so it created this mistrust for, like, there was a really long period of time where I was like, is my intuition broken? Because why didn't I know something was wrong? And it's like, I was 4.5, so of course I didn't know anything was wrong because I was 4.
Actually, you were 3.5.
Okay, well, even worse,
So
right?
you really...
I had no idea.
No, of course not. At 3.5, you just do whatever it is that your parent says. If they say, hold my hand, we're walking this way, you just do it. You don't know.
But it created a lot of like, I felt very burdened by that for a long time. And so I wish that that could have happened differently, where I wasn't complicit.
Well, you weren't complicit.
No, but I think about...
You were blindsided, and that...
Yes, but I think about the experience that my dad has that has plagued him for the duration of his life. As a result of that, makes it so our relationship is not one that can be as whole as it could have been. Because he thinks about that we left him. He doesn't just think about that you left him. He thinks we left him.
Well, yes, I hadn't actually, I don't know, I guess I blocked the unpleasant things that we share, because we share so many things that are so pleasant and so uplifting and happy. I wish we didn't share that also. I wish it had been done differently, but it was really highly charged. Emotions were really running.
Yeah, it was a scary time.
It was, yes, and I was in a fight or flight kind of situation. Not that there was any fear of your dad, but I felt like I had made a decision. I had to follow through with it. You were only 3.5. You know, your sister and brother were very young also, and I had to make the decision for the family. We had to leave, and I had to leave pretty quickly, or else I'm going to get caught trying to come across the country. Well, we're going to get caught in a snowstorm and all of that. So I was just in a position where I felt like I have to cut my loss. I cannot trust anyone to tell anyone what I'm doing, because this plan has got to work. I have got to get us to a safe place where we can regroup, because I knew your dad was not going to react well to it. He was going to try and stop me, and it just was a decision I made, and I had to follow through with it.
I honor your choice because it was yours and it was the right one for you to
But
make.
I made the choice for you too, though.
Yes, and at the time, there was no support for the problems that were happening.
No.
Right? There was no addiction support. Like, you had to be very wealthy to like be like, my partner is having like drug issues, and like it was the 80s and nobody knew what was going on. And so like I don't think that your reaction was wrong. I think it was the choice that there was for you to make. And you were in a tough spot. So like I don't have upset about that, but I do carry sadness for like that my father got caught in a tornado and then was abandoned in that tornado.
Right.
And then there is no reconciliation for that, right?
No.
That's been just like what he had to carry. And I have empathy for folks with addiction because that's not them.
No. Well,
I just carry some sadness about that.
I also carry some sadness for him and great empathy because I knew him. I knew him from the time that we were like 13 years old. So I know that he was not a bad person, and he had no ulterior motives or unkindness or anything. He was a very kind and considerate person. He just got caught up. He got involved with something and he was way over his head and couldn't do anything about it. And like you said, there was no help unless you were absolutely wealthy, and then it was, undercover. Your family doctor would refer you to someone and you'd disappear for a while. No one knew what was going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't as open as it is now, wasn't as accessible. And his family never did help. They didn't know what to do either.
Yeah.
So it was a situation that I wish had not turned out the way it was and had impacted you the way it did. And we've just made the best of the decisions. And
That's all you could do.
yeah. Okay. If this were to be our last conversation, what is something you never want me to forget?
That it all works out. It all works out.
Yeah. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Got the juicy eyes.
Yes. Let's see, what would I never want you to forget? That you were just truly loved and wanted. And it was wonderful having you in my life. It's been a good ride.
Love you, kid.